Well, let's do this. Chapter 39, a continuation of chapter 38, which was all that stuff. So chapter 39 is the title is Siying, and that translates to shoot. Good grief. Siying translates to cause of death. Oh yes, cause of death. That's pretty good. That's actually strangely appropriate. And that is actually the scene I wanted to get to. On the screen, after seeing the daughter waiting in the polar track vehicle and choosing to touch the head to kill as an interaction, Sume controlled the character to walk off the tracked vehicle. Yes, my daughter, super beautiful, cute, and sensible. I don't know if I will have such a lovely daughter in the future, but if I choose it, she will definitely not. The not the knots will be placed weirdly in the translations just because the way the Chinese sentences are structured is a little bit different than English grammar rules. My daughter will look good even if she's ignorant, and I hope she can stay on my side and grow happily. Of course, let's first pick the supplies we need to bring this time out. Let's first pick the supplies we need to bring this time out. Let's first pick out the supplies we need to bring this time. I have to say, this game is really hardcore. Sume swiped the vast array of base stocks in the game list with the mouse to show future audiences the items to choose from. Because it's live, Sume must always maintain a full mood and appropriate speech speed, which is difficult for most people to complete. But for Sume, who is already proficient, it's basically okay. Because we've moved some materials into the crawler in the previous teaching, so this is probably the basic supply recommended by the game. Let me take a look. It's basically food, fuel, maintenance equipment, and two cold proof spacesuits that can move in polar regions. Yes, with a little physical knowledge, we know that if the sun goes out, the temperature of Earth will drop to minus 200 degrees below zero. This is the temperature at which even the air freezes. The Earth can basically be regarded as a vacuum. So this is the case in the game. The design can be regarded as very scientific. Well, there's also a set of drone equipment. Uh, Drones are very common now, but let's take a look at the industrial design of future drones. Can it inspire current drones? Yeah. With that said, Sume moved the mouse to the drone icon, clicked to open it, and saw an ultra high resolution drone model appear in front of her in an instant. I saw this drone is not a common rotary wing drone, but a reaction force engine that consumes more energy. The four engines are distributed at the four corners of the UAV to ensure it can have the ability to lift vertically. This is a bit similar to the shuttle we sometimes see in our daily life, but this is also inevitable. If the outside world is a vacuum, then all rotary wing drones that we use now must be scrapped. I just don't know how long the battery life is. 150 hours. Nuclear powered battery. Sume read the following specific parameters in the drone introduction and couldn't help but laugh out. Sure enough, the future is still very sci fi. I don't know how long in reality we can make such a drone that can be powered by nuclear batteries. Looking in this way, Sume gradually discovered that most of the machinery stored in the space had nuclear energy, and that the girl's expression finally became serious. Yes, everyone knows that nuclear energy is a relatively dangerous energy source, especially if it's not used intensively in nuclear power plants. But it's used for daily life drones and even outdoor spacesuits to keep warm. It's actually very risky. However, the civilization in the final game still choose this extreme method. It is seen that they are indeed in an apocalyptic desperation being extinguished from the sun, and they have been forced to run out of ammunition and food. After all, survival is the first priority of life. Hey, what am I talking about? Why suddenly become philosophical? Um, there's a very interesting another book as well called "Never Get Off the Train," something like "不要下车" or something like that, which had interesting commentary on DNA contaminating life. Because the purpose of DNA is to reproduce at whatever cost, reproduction. You know what? I'll quickly go over that. So there's an interesting concept which is like DNA contaminates life because DNA cells. It came to an interesting conclusion that DNAs and cells evolve together, whereas cells rely on DNA to continue to replicate, and the DNA requires the cell to continue producing more DNA. So kind of like mitochondria and the cell. And so because of its goal of reproduction, right, whether it's asexual reproduction or regular reproduction, the cell asexual reproduction at least doesn't kill the host cell. Reproduction means that once it's reproduced, its purpose has been achieved, and that uh, in order to reproduce DNA. And so, if theoretically, if a being that didn't have to reproduce didn't reproduce, it could theoretically be immortal, right? So that was an interesting case mentioned in Never Get Off the Train. But in that same train of thought, the only thing that would be able to survive would be that would be immortal would be um, simple single cell organisms or something of the sort, because those things just don't have any purpose in reproducing. But then you don't really get that whole uh, what is it? Um, I don't like calling it Darwinism, evolution, or not survival of the fittest. Just generally has a negative connotation to it, even though it's true. It's called like population something, uh, like something competition. Give me a quick sec to find it. Sorry, it just brings to mind. It's like survival something. It had something to do with like just adaptability. But yeah, that's very interesting. Let's continue to look down. Oh yeah, we haven't got to my favorite quote yet. Let's continue to look down. There are a lot of weapons below, and there are even such horrible things as nuclear weapons. But please put down your excited hands. If you want to play, please be sure to buy a game to support it. And such heavy weapons are placed here. But we do not have the ability to transport them, because with the load of the polar vehicle, one missile is full, and the exoskeleton armor like mine may not be able to pull. Wait first. Don't do Fisuno if you die. Let me save a file first. Sumai clicked on the game menu. After confirming that it was archived, she clicked on the transportation of transporting a nuclear warhead to the polar car. In an instant, she saw her character turned and ran toward the base, the to the entrance of the base. A progress bar appeared next to it. Disassemble and transport nuclear weapon schedule, 0.15%. Estimated time, 15 hours. Sume clicked to cancel the transportation with a bitter face. Sure enough, I'm the last human in this base. Although we still have a lovely daughter in this car, this kind of awkwardness must not let my daughter do. In short, I can't pull the nuclear weapons for the time being. There's no need to pull the radar or anything. But this kind of drone seems very useful. I must bring a few spares, right? Let me quickly refresh the page because the text is not being translated. Sorry, give me a quick sec. I'm going to take a quick swig of water.